Mm. Hello, everyone. Hello, how are you guys? So I have not seen you guys in a minute. I've been over on either Mind Over Tea on my other channel, or I've been, just browsing around these YouTube streets. I also have been, going into to work and changing some things up. So today, I think is a very good topic. I want to kind of start with that. It is 304's or poly. This is one of those questions that I hear a lot of the time. Most of the time now, especially in certain atmospheres, one of the first things you hear is like, what's the difference between a 304 and someone who's poly? That's like the number one thing that I hear. And it's like, should we have to have this conversation? Hey, intellectual soapbox. These days going to sleep. It's nice to see you. Well, hopefully you can check out the live a little later. But yeah, so I was gonna talk about real phones versus poly. I actually am hoping to do a segment with this with my co-host from Mind Over Tea, Dead Hill. So hope you guys check that out. I will send out notifications. I might even dual stream that because that is really something I think that our community is heading towards on a larger scale. Not only, you know how sometimes you think you watch Google and things like that, and then like whatever you look at is tailored to you. So whatever's on your phone, a lot of people are like, oh, you don't see it's everywhere. It's not everywhere. It's just that's the kind of content you like to watch. And since everything, Facebook, Google are usually all connected, it's sending you everything it thinks you may be interested in. So even though that is the case, a lot of times I have more than one device and I don't look up certain things on other devices. But even with that, I still hear poly come up quite a bit. So, in different kinds too. And I also see it on, regular television. So I think it is important, especially now in some of the communities, when we talk about what the difference between women being 304's and being poly. And I think that is something that needs to be addressed. So I want to say, first off, thank you before we get into our content. Thank you guys for coming, liking this video, subscribing. If you're interested in content about poly information, knowledge, any request topics you have, please send them my way. A lot of times, like I said, since I do work full time, I still have to, make time to do other things. So what happens is if you guys have content you like to hear about, I will make time and plan for it and then go ahead and do that. It may not be a live, but it'll be a video. So I appreciate that. Okay. So back to our topic. Let's go straight into it. Okay. So what I'm hearing is 304's, right? And you're like, well, if you don't know, let's just get down to it. A 304 is considered a HOE. Okay. Now definitions on what that looks like. I have heard various things, but for the most part, it sounds like a woman who is just open to being entertaining me. Okay. So on the larger scale, it sounds like men want women with low body counts, right? They don't want women who, they can just go down the street and everybody in head and taste. I want that. So when it comes to 304, what's the line between 304s and this new thing, poly? A lot of the liberation, women's liberation, sexual liberation. What is the difference from there? Hey, it's my body, my choice, all that. Where are these lines? Where are the lines at, right? And when you talk about the 3 folks, are you talking about people who are extreme? And what's extreme? Because you hear some people will openly be on channels and things like that and talking about they got 1,500, 3,000 bodies. Okay, there's some people who are like, oh well, I have 200, I have six, I have. Is six too many? Because then you hear men say six too many. Then you hear someone say, "Oh well, you know what? I don't care how many bodies you have. As long as it's good, I'm good." You know what I'm saying? So I do hear a variety. So please do not take anything personal and feel like anyone's calling me names on this channel right now. So all I am pointing out is that when you have people looking at you, for the higher point is that when most people look at you, for the overall masses, feel foes, it seems to be an ongoing thing. It's just that if you are with multiple partners throughout the year, and things like that, that's a no-go, right? So for some men, we want to put that out there. So what is really the difference between the 304 and this poly thing? Now I'll tell you this. Let's go down the poly road because we gotta let you know, because I want you to be informed. So poly is overall what I call poly, because I miss poly, but what is overall poly is the relationships between a person and more than one partner. So it can look different. Check out my other videos. I have some breakdowns of that. You can be polyandry, polygamous, and then you also have polyamorous. Okay. I'll tell you this. For me, I always say there's three. There's other kinds of poly that people like to talk about, but for the masses, it's really stressful for people to learn language unless they're going to do a term paper, or they're trying to be very, very specific with people who know what they're talking about. Okay, just like they tell doctors can sit next to each other all day and talk all kinds of things, but when they're around regular people, you have to bring it down. Common folk conversation. A lot of people are not versed, even people who are in poly are not versed enough, know enough to be able to walk into a room and have all the definitions down, and be able to also know the definitions that are incorrect to correct others, or to explain, oh, well, your definition means that, but what I'm saying is this, so we're actually saying the same thing. Not most people can do that. So we want to also make sure we're bringing it down for the common folks, okay? So I say there's only three to keep it plain in how it is. Polyamory is the build your own poly. That's how I like to leave it. Everything else, solo poly, all of them go right in there, okay? Polyandry, very, very strict. That's why I say there's three. Polyandry, a woman has multiple male partners who do not have other female partners. And this is where, their third one, is polygamy. Same situation with polyandry. Is a man with multiple wives and they do not have other partners. They're just partnered with them. That is the original. Now, if you hear somebody say, well, I'm a polygamist and I'm with my wife and she likes girls, that's polyamorous. You guys are polyamorous. But the way y'all move is very much like a polygamy. So you want to be very clear on that, because the original polygamist, polyandry, there's only one partner for the other partners. So there's one person who has multiple partners and the other ones do not. They can be high five sister wives, high five brother husbands. They are not with each other. They are just connected platonically and they work together as a team. So it's very important when that comes out. That's why I said there's only three. And the polyamorous, everyone else kind of fits in polyamory. And that includes myself. The only reason a lot of times I'll say I'm polyandry is because my partners do not deal with other women. And so for that, a lot of times I say I look polyandry. It's very important. And my partners do that because they just want to. They have choices. They can, and that's why I have to say, if someone asks me, I am poly. Me making the choice, my partners have the option to do such, but I look polyandry. And if I had to have conversations, I would have to, talk about that. But anyway, After the definitions are out the way, let's go on into it. So, for the most part, you hear the conversation. What makes a 304 different than poly? Poly people need poly relationships, and especially for women. This is the big thing for women out here. A lot of conversations, especially women who are possibly thinking about transitioning into being a lot more open with their bodies or having that roster we talked about. The roster, um, the roster of men. There's no real commitment there, right? So a lot of times, you'll say, okay, we're not committed. Is the commitment that I want to mess with you, but I might mess with some other girls, right? If you're on a roster, you probably have a specific task, a specific role. I think a lot of men are who participate in those kind of relationships. It helps them know their place, and men are really good. Not all men, but men in general are usually very good at staying and playing their role. Not usually the other way. It usually, and a man, this is what it is. If a man doesn't want to play the role that you give him, he will make a scene and he'll mess it up. That makes sense. So, if you have a roster of men, and one of them is specifically was to come over and take care of some stuff, hang out with you, and maybe get your nails done. If he decides one day he don't like that you got 3 other people that you talk to, and he want you to be his exclusively, he will make a scene. Not just to you, he'll mess it up. People gonna get messed up. They gonna get messed up. He gonna be like, if he know the other person, if he know who it is, he gonna mess it up because he want. At the end of the day, he gonna get what he want, which is to get rid of all the competition. Get you. Now you may say no, but his job is to be number one. So that's why these sneaker links and all these things y'all talk about. That's why the sneaker links, usually if they're men, if they really, really want you, they'll make a scene and they'll get you. So you gotta be careful with that. If a man changes his mind that he ain't in the role he supposed to be playing, if he really don't want to be in the role anymore, he decide he wants something else, he gonna make that change. He gonna make the change. He gonna mess it up. That's a sincere person who really wants you at that point. Because he gonna mess up the other stuff you got going on intentionally, and probably tell you to. You don't really care. So that's a little bit interesting, right? So then we go down the road here. Okay. So usually have a role. Men like roles. If it's, in these relationships with 304, some of them don't even, they want nothing. They say, all I want to do is do a little bit deep. I have my own stuff. I don't really want to have a relationship. I just want you to come give me some D. Maybe you come over, I'll give you some wine, sit down, do Netflix and chill. And matter of fact, I don't even want you to sleep over. There's some women like that. You have a role. They do, and they send you on your way. I don't really want nothing to do with you. And then every now and then I want you to say some sweet nothings to them. Right? That's it. That's the basic 304s that you hear. That's not my definition. That's just gathering information so far. This is what this sounds like. So even the ones who are maybe like, okay, I get, I had maybe 2 bodies this year, they would still throw you in there because you are open to the idea of being with multiple men. So I think this is why that transition is going to come, where women are going to not only be open with saying they have that roster, which they already most likely are saying, but me really open with talking about having, just what they want. Because forget that if we're all 304s. Because we didn't have one person, or we weren't with one person, which unfortunately a lot of young women, young girls, losing virginities very early. I just want to lose and get it over with. And it's not judgment on that. What I'm saying is that what happens is that, so when you have young ladies hitting 18 with 10 bodies. Okay, there's not a judgment place. What I'm saying is, if you're hitting 18, 19 with 10 bodies, and then you trying to find different man. Not saying you say anything particular about that. If that's the case, when we would all be 304's for the most part, all the generation. And then you hear men say, this is why all these new women are just, you either got to get in your mind that these are women aren't going to be exclusively you, or you're not going to be the only one. And that's a whole nother conversation of remembering every action has a reaction. And so if men think that most women who are in their 30s are going to have extreme amount of bodies, what they're going to do a lot of time in their mind. If I was a man, I would date younger. Because the younger I date, the lower the body count. So then you have that. They're always going to be reactive. Especially if some people want certain things. Oh, well, I guess I got to find a wife by 16. I bet you the age of pushing to find a long-term partner will start. The age will go down lower. Women may not accept it. And I like it. But it's going to be a transition. I know a lot of people don't like to hear what I say sometimes, but they think that, oh, it sounds like it's never going to happen. I'm not talking about something that's going to happen in 2 years. I'm talking about long processes. Right? But that's a whole other conversation. Go back. You know, I have ADHD. I just go off into the moon. But anyway, so you have women who are getting body counts high, hooks. You have women who are having their body counts maybe high, who are younger, right? So when you walk into a situation, most of these women are already going to be, quote unquote, real folks, right? So what is really the difference, right? Let's talk about poly folks. Poly folks here. Poly folks are people who decided to have more than one partner, more than one relationship. A lot of the time, this is based on a connection. Now, this new generation decided to be greater than great and say, oh, no, it's just women who have, or men who have more than one partner, and we're just calling it poly. And for people who've been poly for a while, or people who've been, I say naturally poly, it doesn't work like that. A lot of times having the ability to do something doesn't mean you abuse the ability. That makes sense to you. If you have the ability to love more than one person, the ability to be in a relationship with one person, and you do it well, right? I'm just saying, if you do it well, everyone knows they have a limit. And everyone knows that you need to be very particular about who you choose. That's a very big one, choosing who you choose. And to be successful in poly, it takes a lot of work, communication, information. It takes a lot of basic skills that we don't use in monogamous relationships. I don't mean it's better. Please don't. What I'm saying is that the kind of work you have to do in poly is not the same work you do in monogamy. And being able to be very open and honest and be receptive. And being receptive to criticism. I'm not saying you're going to get it right the first time. Being receptive to criticism is very important. And that's very difficult for some people. So anyone who you've ever spoken to, if you have not spoken to anyone who is poly, if they say, yeah, it's fun, I get to be who I want, and then turn around, get this guy, that I will say sounds more like real. So because a person who's in these relationships with poly, it's more than that. And so when I'm asked that question, what is in between poly and relationships? And I've had to really think about this too, and I got challenged, which I will say in this place in my life right now, I believe that the real difference comes down to the emotional connection and the kind of connection you're trying to make, the intent behind that. Because I've been challenged on this, people. I've been challenged on this by people who are just very um, open and want to get information. And the thing is, like, real foes, yes, they have sex with multiple people, but those relationships most of the time are only for the well-being of one person. It's like, let me get what I can get out of you until I don't want what you can offer anymore. I don't need it. Those are that's what, and you can, if you hear people talk, that's what it sounds like. Now, it doesn't mean everyone's like this. That's why when you see poly, a lot of people are confused sometimes. If you see a person who is just saying, I'm in an open relationship, or I just want to mess around, just different people, yes, it looks very similar. Or they'll say, oh, but they get money from those guys, but it's very exchanging looking, exchanging goods kind of looking. What I mean by that, when it gets down to the bottom of the bottom, when you're at your lowest, are they gonna be there? Those are real relationships to me. Okay, so when you see that, that's what I see as a real relationship. The intent in your relationship with someone is really positive. The intent of your well-being, the intent of a relationship is very, very important. Those other situations are not. So when they say what's the difference with 304, I think 304s are, they're getting what they can get out of the situation to the best of their ability, and using what assets that they have to get those. And for how long, I don't know. But when they're not able to give, that's done. And when they, or if the person giving them whatever resource, it's gone, it's not. And I think that, when I talk to older women, I'm like, oh, I did that back in the day, girl. I didn't have a man to fix my car, didn't a man pay for my nails. I said, oh, so basically you just, and then he come, so you would do stuff for him? Yeah, like, that's what. So basically you're telling you a word. You don't like to use that word, but that's, to me, is an exchange of goods. Because there's always the idea that you're going to receive payment. And if you were to get in an argument, would it come up that you owed something? If you have a conversation with your partners and the conversation sounds like you owe them something, you owe them something. That probably is a transactional relationship, which then I will say falls into 304s. I will put that. I think 304s is transaction, very transactional. And if you're in denial of that, even if the transaction is emotional, and then people are going to say, oh no, but all relationships are transactional. All relationships have a give and take, but there's a lot of times where your partner can only give you 30 and you're giving 70 for a long time. Then it may switch, and you have to be okay with those 30. If you are in a 304 situation, someone tells you that they cannot pay your rent, you will drop them. If someone says they can't fix your car, they may not be on the roster. If someone tells you, oh, you know what, I'm very, very sick, I'm going to go through these treatments, blah, blah, blah. Are they going to be there with you? Transaction. And that's what I mean by transaction. And where's the intent? Where's the love? Where's the care? And a lot of times I don't think they have that. They don't have that. You know what I'm saying? So when you're talking about 304s versus poly, I think that has a lot to do with the intent of the connection, the kind of intent, and all those things. Now, if you're okay with being a 304, that's you're living your best life, do you, boo? But no, everything has a consequence. And so you also hear that come up where you see people say, oh, they was acting wild. And then Jesus saved me. Now, I love Jesus and I know he's saved, but don't use that because now you hitting 37 and you want babies. And now you want to act like you got sense and you just went to church. It used to be something that you could get away with because we didn't have all this social media and y'all posting stuff. Y'all been posting things since back in the day, 10 years ago. We've been posting, popping it, half naked, Wushis out. You've been posting, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And then now you trying to delete your whole Instagram, start new. Remember, you used to be able to move to a new town, be a whole new you. You can go a whole new city. Women would just get up and go to a whole nother state. If you saw a woman go to a whole nother state for no reason, about 30 years old, that's why. Because she needed to start over and they need nobody to know her and tell her business. Which is, I mean, shoot, sometimes we do need a fresh start. But you have to own who you are. And you have to be more responsible with the choices that you make. And that even goes for me. I'm not perfect, Angel. Please do not get me wrong. I'll be out here having the greatest time of my life. But I also know that there are some things that I'm just like, oh yeah, I can't do that. And I've been doing that since I was young. I ain't smoking and drinking because I know those come with consequences that if something was to happen, I can't get back. I can't go out and be like, oh, I have my boyfriend and I go get drunk and I use that as an excuse why I just let some man get up on me. No, that's not something I want to do. So I can't, you know, I'm not going to do that. That's just for me. You know what I'm saying? And it's not just that, it's just an example for me, but any example. I ain't gonna go on girls' trips knowing that I really want to, because I ain't had D. Sorry. I had D. I ain't gonna go on no girls' trip. I already know what's out of. Men looking at me trying to be great. That's what it is. No. Antoine, let's hit these up real quick. Thank you guys for participating. Everything pretty much transactional now. For the most part, everything is very, very transactional. It's unfortunate, but it is. It's very, very true. But there's still a lot of people, a lot of groups who don't want things to be transactional. They really are in it for the love. And that's what a lot of poly people, that's what they want. They don't want the transaction. And that's really important. And almost to the point that we won't even, the kind of requirements we have for relationships are different so that we won't have that transactional feeling. Okay? Let's see. The quick question. Let's get this. Do you think relationships is a low form of prostitution? I think some of those are. So I will be honest with you. So we've been having this conversation also on another stream, sitting here on Mind Over Tea. It's one of those questions is, yeah, it is. If they were to legalize prostitution, they were to legalize it, so you would be penalized for it. I bet you 70% of the women in the U.S. would be doing it. If they were to legalize it, they tax you. They have to find a way to tax you. So they'd probably set up brothels. Because they want a piece of that. They probably allow brothels. And I'm not saying this out of something that I'm making up. There are obviously other places where prostitution is legal. They have roads you walk down and they actually have like nice little like the windows look like windows and you go in and in there is like you got your bedroom and everything, you close the curtain and do your business. Yeah, they would tax it. They would tax it. Okay, hang on. Here, let's see here. There she go. Good morning. Hello, good morning. How are you? I'm well. Yeah, the tax is already taken from you, but what they would do is they would set up a place where you could prostitute it. They would set up brothels, just like a restaurant, make it all nice, and you would go to those places, just like a strip club, right? They probably would transition from that. They would take the strip clubs and then just probably add on a portion that have rooms and stuff like that. And you guys can go in there, but you would have to do a transaction, and then the transaction, the company would be taxed on. So, and if it was that way, good morning. Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. What would brothels do to our community, our community as a whole? So, one second. If you have brothels, right, and in there, hang on one second. If that key is in my side of my pocket, you want to get that. If you have brothels, they would tax it here in America because they want their part. They would get to sell participation for money. So they were going to tax it, and then I bet you 70% of women would be selling it. They already selling it now. It's just on DL. They selling it now. That's OnlyFans and all that. They're getting taxed. You're getting taxed on OnlyFans. OnlyFans tax. So you're getting taxed to show They're stuck. But if they were just to say prostitution is legal, and it would take all those women who got those degrees, they're trying to get money, they would stop. And the only thing that would really interfere with that is the men saying no to payment. But how many men are going to say no when they can get the kind of woman, the physique of woman they would like? Because now women, unfortunately, it sounds weird, they would sell it, right? But when you're selling it, what you're doing is now you've created women into a product. You probably have women who are going to start working out more. Listen, this is the cause and effect. They probably start working out more because they have to compete with each other. Working out more and getting more cosmetic surgery. They probably take care of themselves better. They probably, depending on who they are, and then they probably stop marrying women. Men would probably stop marrying each other, and the birth rate would extremely drop. You probably only have children being produced within probably 30% of the population, and most of that probably would not be from Americans. It'd probably be from people who moved here and had different cultural backgrounds. Because you have to also take into the mind that other places prostitution is legal. This is not uncommon for them, but they don't act wild, right? But they experienced it their whole lives. We've never experienced it. That's why when you go to Europe, there's nude beaches, all that, and they have new statues everywhere, and people take the kids to see museums, and there's bee and breast everywhere. Those kids are like, oh my God, there's boobs everywhere. They're not doing that. You know why? Because they see it all the time. Okay. There's boobs. Okay. Like it doesn't mean anything. It's not like a shocker. Like, oh my God. Hey, you go to the nude beach. Oh my God. Like, there's nude beach everywhere. Okay. No one cares. It's different. The culture is different, and the value they put on those things, they see it as art. Here it's more like, oh, it's boobs. Oh, let's use sex. It's a different vibe. Let's go back to these comments. I appreciate it. Okay, brothels are cool. Called as a salon. Yeah, listen. Brothels would frustrate the women that want dates. It would frustrate the ones who want it. There's no value being put on relationships anymore. The only value is that women are emotionally, connected to a lot of things they do. So they would at some point want that. Now, I think it's the same for men too, because after a certain age, their standards for the women when it comes to certain things drops. Not saying that it's like, okay, it's cool. Like they get like more relaxed in some things. I don't think it's some things they get relaxed on. But the relationships men want more connections when they're older. They want more connection when they're older. They want that woman's going to sit on the porch with them and eat food and take care of them. They want that. They want that a little bit earlier, but they will start wanting that really about 30. You just do. Now, a man who's prepared and was taught to think ahead, he would want that earlier, but it's just because he's prepped, but his body will be saying something different. You still think about doing poly? If you're thinking about poly, just get yourself well versed in what it is, be honest with you. And then, a lot of times I tell people that they say, oh, you should have a partner already. I don't think so. Depending on what kind of poly you are. As a woman, no. Start by yourself. Because there's a lot to that. Start by yourself. Here's a little tip. Start by yourself as a woman if you want to get anywhere in poly. Because the person who's with you already will take priority in a lot of things. And the things that maybe you value or like, you have to also know that that person may not be okay with certain things, especially if they're a man. I said a little bit out here. I'm going to be a little bit of that. I think a lot, just saying. Okay. Like I started with someone that I was with for a very long time. And the transition between what it actually really meant started bothering them. and going to, so then it was no longer me just enjoying the poly, experience. I'm now having to also deal with someone transitioning. That's why I'm really good at transitioning partners at this point, that it's second nature to me, because I'm dealing with men who aren't used to me, women having other men. So it's different, the transition. So as a man though, if you go into this, it could, and they say it's hard. They say it's hard, but it depends on. I said the best plan for a man, especially in this atmosphere, is to be very well prepped for having women, and then know what kind of women you want. Oh, 80%, 80% of issues come with people picking the wrong people. They're not picking the right partner for you and for what you need in your relationship. That's number one. Just bad. Not picking the right partner. Well, what women keep saying that they don't need a man and saying, yeah, that. Oh no, I ain't never said that. I don't need. That sounds crazy. Any woman who says they don't need a man, that sounds wild. I need a man so much. I got more than one. How about that? Someone told me that. He's damn right. Not only do I need one, I want one. That's what I'm standing on. They wild. No. That sounds crazy. No, not me. I'm part of that group. Being feminine has nothing to do with you being rude to me. Now, women combating with ideas that sound reckless from men, I'm okay with you trying to say, hey, you know what? I like to do my part. I can help. I can do my part. I'm more than just a person who sits in the kitchen and cooks and cleans. If that's what you want. Because listen to me. I want a wife right now. I want a wife in my house. Yes, sir. Wives are important. Homemakers are important. Do not doubt a good homemaker will change your life. A good woman who stay inside your house, if she want to be in the house, whatever you want to buy, let's do that. I need to save up right now and get me a wife. You a wild one? Yes. What you need, baby? You want to buy that for the kid? Yes. You want to buy something for the kid? You want to get your nails? Yes. You want your hair done this week because you want to look cute? Yes. Yes. Yeah, we're gonna pay for those services because you're doing good out here. Making food. You participating with these kids. Yeah, I'm paying. That's a service. I'm paying. Whatever you need me to pay. What you need? Back rub? We gonna figure it out. If I can't do it, we gonna get somebody to do it. You got good energy. You got me fucked up. We need one of them. They wildin'. So having sex with more people makes you poly. I will say this. That's the wrong thing. Sex does not make you poly. So there's people who have platonic partners. So you're not having sexual interaction with them. And you have true relationships with people. So yeah, the sex, okay, so sex comes with a lot of relationships. Let's just be honest. Sex comes with a lot of relationships. It's just someone is turning you on mentally, right? Turning you on mentally, turning you on sexually. That's why sometimes when guys say, oh, I found this girl, she ain't that cute, but you know what? She got great personality. And you looking like, why does that man date that girl? She ain't cute and sexy. She didn't start off getting his V hard. What she did was she started off messing with his mind, getting inside what he wants, what he needs. She's caring for him. So I think a lot of times we're just only focused on those things that someone can provide you with being excited, sexually excited. Okay. And that's not all that people offer. There are men out here who, this is why you see this a lot in poly too. You'll see a woman, you see her with an older man. A lot of that has to do with he probably, men's sex drives are going down when they older. When they say they do. It's just what it is. They may not want to do this much or blah, blah. You got a little young thing, 32, something like that, and you 50, 60. Listen, he might be like, listen, I provide her with not just this money, but whatever. Because you might provide her money. Maybe you do. But you also know she provides a lot of stuff for you, and that connection is really strong. Why break that connection just because he doesn't have sex with you all the time? That's nice. If you enjoy his company, you enjoy his time, you do enjoy having sex with him too sometimes. It's not always about sex. But sex is a big part of it. We're going to say, because some people really think that they don't know how to connect. Most people out here don't know how to connect but through sex. That's another issue. Because most of y'all don't know how to do nothing. But if someone ain't making you hard or getting you off, then you don't even value anything they can bring, because it's got to get you off. Sexually get you off. You won't get no mental stimulation if they ain't. And a lot of guys say that. They say women are boring, they have nothing to talk about. So right there, that's a negative. You shouldn't even be with that woman. She don't even mentally stimulate you. You don't even want to talk. Half of y'all just want to hit it. Your goal is to get in the room, have sex with that woman, get the fuck out there as soon as possible. You wrap up the show and moving on. Because you're not even being stimulated. You can't share nothing with her. You can't talk to her. She's not inspiring you to do anything. But get it up. Okay, let's keep going through these comments. Sorry, I don't want to get stuck there. Okay. Hook's been up front with women. We're saying the drama through. Oh. Yeah, being upfront with women. Oh, listen. A woman will say all day that she don't like how people talk to you. A man who's being honest, he gets played more than anybody else. Now, I don't want to do nothing with you. And I'm going to tell you why that works later another time. A lot of times, acting like you're not interested will get you played. Because you've turned it into a competition. Now you've turned on the competition. What do you mean you don't want me? What you mean I don't look good? There must be something wrong with you. Tell me you ain't heard that before. Because you've turned it into a competition. Because there's no way that you don't want this. And if you don't want this, I'm going to make you want it, and then I'm going to turn you down. Because you've turned it into a competition. Now it's no longer about anything but that. That's why. You made it into that. So a lot of guys who really like girls sometimes, they ignore her. Or, oh, she going to try to find out. Try this. If you really like a girl, tell another woman who know her. I mean, like, she's alright. You know, I don't know. Maybe I talk to her. Do something like that. Look like you on the edge of being convinced you like her. You won't get some conversation, I promise. I'm starting by myself in this second thinking it's the right way to go. You know, this is the thing. If you've tried being monogamous for many years, why not try poly? You're not hurting anything. And I'm not saying it's for everyone, because you could try poly and it not be for you. Why not try when you've tried something else for so long? And, you know, the definition of insanity is trying something over and over again and getting the same result. Thinking is going to be different. So if you think that what you're doing is working, but you're not getting the result you want, you have to revise and try something different. Even if it's monogamy. Okay, I've been trying this for so long, it doesn't work. And sometimes it doesn't work because you're like the one that most of these issues or things aren't working, you're just not matching with the right people. Well, that's what it really has to do with it. Any of my partners, you ask them, do I pick good partners? I pick good partners for me. And that's why nobody can ever tell me, oh, girl, I don't know if I'll pick this partner, they're going to look a certain way. That doesn't fit me. I've many times told a man that's probably talked to me, we're not a good match. We're just not. I think you're amazing, you're sexy, all these things, but we don't match. Our goals aren't the same. Where we're going isn't the same. What you do would irritate my other partner so much, that wouldn't work. And I ain't getting rid of him. And we ain't even started. Those are things that really matter. So a different process. You're trying to get clarity. Okay, yeah, no, I'm not sorry. I'm here to inform. Yeah, the sexual part. So the sexual part, if you're still in here, the sexual part, let me get you in here. The sexual part is very important. Having sexual interactions in any relationship is going to be very important because a lot of people base love on sex. If you're not having sex with your partner, then there's something wrong. And when you're getting older, okay, let's just be honest. If you're getting older, first off, your body ain't doing what it's most likely. You might be having aches and pains, and you may be tired. Y'all might be working a lot. You may be doing all these things. You may not be in the mood. Now, if you're a high sexual person, you may not care. And you just have to run all over the place. Okay. But not everyone's like that. And everyone changes, especially if you get older. I think if you're a man and you see your woman changing sexually, don't get upset with that. Or the sexual appetite of a man gets a little different. Don't be irritated by that. Now, I'm not saying someone be out here be cheating. But I'm saying a lot of times it's just that energy change. And a woman, if you don't even, y'all know when your man is tired and it ain't, he's just trying to do some things for you. He's tired. Having grace, giving them grace, talking to them about those things, really important. So that's what I'm doing. I face off. I get a little. Okay, let's go here. I have a good retirement plan. I'm a fair man. I have a lot of extra love to give, and I like women that are teachable. You trying to teach them. You gotta have that close. Sorry, I moved that camera. What are you trying to teach them? So I think that's a lot of things too. I'm going to be honest with you. I have not met a lot of men with the ability. I think it's not teachable. So, women are sensitive when it comes to words too. You gotta be careful. You're a man who's very successful. You're very good with your words. Move me with your words. Not all women are the same. Some women don't need a lot of words. Most women, the ones you're probably looking for, it's the intellect part that will get there. Because once you get in there, once you get in here, it's hard to get out. It's hard to get out. So, when you say teach a woman, I hear men say that, and a lot of women don't like to hear that word. What are you trying to teach me? Especially talking about to a grown ass woman. What are you teaching her? Oh, I want to build with you. Or a lot of men show love by showing and teaching. I want to show you some stuff that you don't know, so we can be better. I want to teach you everything I know, so that when I'm not here, I know you got this. That's how I'm going to provide you safety. I'm providing you safety by giving you all my knowledge, so that I'm not here, you can continue on. You gotta learn how to talk to it. Make them think about it. Ask them their opinion. Ask them their opinion. And it's not because you ask them their opinion so that you can form a plan. What do you think about that? A man asking a woman her opinion. That's amazing. Even if because you're now deeming me important to you, what I think matters. Even if you go the other direction, you consider what I said, because my input was important. That's all. Little things like that. How do you feel like how will this affect you? My decision, how will this affect you? And that's where men have the right as a husband, as a strong partner, to say no. No, I heard your idea. Very cool. But that's not the way we should go. There's other factors that you didn't see. And I know you might not like it, but this is the right way. Have that conversation. And if I am incorrect, I will say that. But trust me that I'm doing what I think is best. And you trust me. Talk to your woman like that. You get a different response. Not every man can talk to a woman like that. That's why it's really important for men to study. I'm not talking about studying, get their mind right, and know what they're talking about. Not pretend. Right? Because now the narrative for most women is that men lying, making up stuff, pretending. No, I know, baby. I know. And I have facts to show you. Now, if you have something to show me to prove that, have a conversation about it, not an argument. Okay. So you said that? I don't. No, yeah. Anyway, it said that makes sense. Okay. Okay, let's go to I'm wondering how can people be stimulated? Stimulated other than sex, and because I know that everything is about sex. It is, but I wrote it's surrounded by sex because that's first off, since the dawn of time, everyone. I'm sorry, I'm a little behind, but the dawn of time, women have been shown. We are been pointed out as objects. This is not to say I'm not man bashing. I mean, these are facts, right? Objects. We're property. And it was it. We were seen as property in exchange for land and goods and deeds, and you were a part of the package. You got married as part of it, right? So a lot of people from that transition from decades and decades, what happens is the transition is that women, even themselves, only really value themselves when they are being desired by people. And that's another thing I wanted to give is desire. Being desired. What happens when you're not being desired? And what happens when you get older and there's nothing you can do about how other people desire you when it comes to your looks? Because you're only built in your looks, and that's a problem. The plastic surgery can only go so far. A lot of times it's botched, or it gets botched, or when you get older, it looks ridiculous. It starts falling in different places. That stuff doesn't stay there forever properly. Even on, it don't matter how much money you have, it starts falling weird, start acting weird, people start taking things out. You see people who put all this money into their bodies and they're trying to take out implants. Dissolving lips. It's because it doesn't sit right after you start getting older. Your body's breaking down and you're like messing with it. Now it's not the same. So our bodies are looked at as our value. And men like that, a pretty face will get a man with air do. Will it keep you? Probably not. Because you get older, there's always going to be someone prettier. But at the end of the day, and you can see it's why all these celebrities, everyone's like, oh, she bad. I'd never cheat on her. Really? She ain't the only bad one on the earth, sir. And on top of that, what else do they bring? If you're a woman, a smart woman, you have to bring more. I ain't talking about money, because you can be a woman without money. You have to bring more. You have to be, first off, you need to be very, very, very observant. I'm going to give you a little tip. Y'all know I do consultation. A little tip. As a woman, you need to be observant. If you're not observing the first 6 months of your relationship, you will fail. You will fail. You're not paying attention. And I know I can tell most of you women are not doing that. I'm not talk to a whole bunch of men. Well, I do talk to men in general. But then when I do date men, one thing I always get complimented on is you're paying attention to me. And I thought that was weird. I was like, shouldn't I? I need to know how you move. I need to know how you act. I think a lot of women do it. But they don't even use the information and looking around. The only time they want to observe is when they think you're cheating or something. No, I want to observe what makes you happy, what makes you sad, what irritates you. I want to see when there's a change so I know how to move. Not because I want to be able to do all this, because I want to make sure that I am not only your sexual desire, okay, but I also want to be your support mentally. That keeps me. Because a man's upset and you're not his special safe place, when he gets upset, he will leave. Now, some people leave because they just need a moment, but they'll tend to leave and they'll seek it somewhere else. A lot of them seek it in sexual interactions with other women. A lot of men just be cheating just to have a moment with another woman. A lot of women won't entertain them in their conversation or whatever, or make them feel at least like that there's not an issue, pretend it's not an issue, without giving out something or getting it off makes it feel better. It's just too much. Be that place for your man. You should be that place for him. Now I got more than one man, so if a woman says you can't do that to one man, you need to go figure out how to do. Remember, learning is not something you just do when you're 16, 18, or 24. You learn every day. And if you ain't learning, especially about the person you're trying to build a life with, you wild. What's wrong with you? Not, the only way I said, don't say it that way. That's just me being real ridiculous right now. You should know how to approach your person too. Not everyone is approached the same. Approach everybody the same. You cannot approach every man the same way. I'm telling you, I know. And what's funny to me is what makes me nervous when I first started doing it was when I have two men who like to be approached differently or like me to be in a different spirit, or I'm in a different place with them. And what happens is, I'll go to one and we have our own vibe, and then I go have the other one and they're in the same room and they're like, we don't do that. We don't do that. And I'm like, you're not compared. You're not the same person. You don't need the same energy. You don't need the same stuff. Why do you talk softer to him? Because that's how he needs me to be. You maybe we're just like, yeah, whatever, we're having a great time. But he don't need that energy. And maybe he doesn't need the energy today. So that's why it's like that makes me nervous, because I'm like, oh wow, they're gonna start judging. That makes me nervous. Not saying it doesn't work, it makes me nervous. Okay. I'm gonna wrap this up too, because I only want to do an hour. So I got my. Okay, let's just answer the rest of these questions, and I'm gonna wrap it up. Okay. Men do not want to admit their sex drive decreases in your. Yeah, stop doing that. Y'all know that goes down. That is fact. Your testosterone going down. Now there's a way to battle that, which is with exercise, a lot of cardio, keep your heart in good place. But in general, you're not gonna have the drive. You're not gonna have the drive. But women is the opposite. Women's drive goes up. So it's just hormones. And so really, I think around 30s is where they kind of overlap. 30s start kind of overlapping, but then it'll start going the other way, and you'll see that decrease. And I think that's why a lot of older women start to run out on husbands, because their sex drive increasing. They don't know why the man don't want it. But it's not them personally, and they may not want to tell them that. Or, I know doctor see what's wrong. Maybe my blood pressure. No, I mean, you probably need to exercise more, but your drive is going down, and you need that mental connection that you wasn't looking for when you was going down. Okay, I'm gonna go down here. Communication is very important. That's ridiculous. Communicating with your partner. If you're not communicating, you're not. It's just family. Every time you're gonna force people to communicate a little bit, or don't give up on the communication. Like I said, you have to know. You need to know how to deal with people. Really, I think that's the best way. If you're poly, learning how to deal with different personality types is very important, because or a particular personality type, and then date those people. So now you're very, very comfortable with those kind of people. So you know how to manage the relationship better based on that. And knowing that the partner also, they don't have to be the same exact person. That's just ridiculous. But if you want similar partnerships, similar thoughts, and similar processes, their core values should be the same. That's very important, because then they won't have issues with each other. That's a big one. So communicating what you want, what you need. I would say communicate what you want, what you need, okay, and what you can give. People don't want what I can give you. Have you ever had a conversation with someone with monogamy? I'm gonna tell you what I can give you. They don't have that conversation. They just be doing stuff. And they be like, "Oh, I didn't say I could give you all that time, baby." No, I told you. Listen, I'm a full-time child, baby. I don't got all that time. So that's what it's gonna look like. And then you know. So then you're making a conscious decision. So then when things aren't going right, you start saying, "Oh, well, I didn't know that I was gonna." Yes, you did. You ever heard of someone cutting off your excuses? That's how you do it. Having communication. There is no excuse, because now, as an adult who's fully aware of what they're doing, they have no excuse but to blame themselves. It eliminates people not taking accountability for making decisions that they make. You chose to be that person, and you knew. Now, whose fault is it? Well, I didn't think it was gonna feel like that. Okay, well, that's unfortunate, but you knew. You guys start thinking, that's why my son looks like that. He makes that face. Okay. Yeah, we need to have better communication skills. I think people are scared to communicate with each other because communication can mean the relationship will end. My phone's died. Communication will end and all that. Oh my gosh, it's run out of time. And this phone's on 5%. Let me just get it together. Okay, let's highlight teaching them short-term, long-term investments, other ways to defend themselves about other countries. And see, you can get that, but the way you present things, a lot of times, this presentation, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. That is like one of my favorite quotes. It's not what you're saying, it's how you say it. I have to be able to talk about anything. That's right. Well, most women purposely get the men that ain't shit to keep the narrative up. If things don't go right, and they'll blame all the business stuff hold themselves down. Yeah, if you just get dating people that ain't got no business dating, and it's probably, yeah. Why? You knew he was a bum. You was hoping he was gonna change. You knew he wasn't gonna change. Stop playing. You know something like that? Okay, even now nobody likes intelligent women. Yeah, I think because the fear is that there's no conversation. So men do have to hold themselves accountable for having that conversation. You do not have to go to school to be intellectual, but being diverse and being able to have conversations about more than one thing. I've dated men who can't hold good conversation with me. They have other skills, and that's okay. Not everyone's book smart. So being able to know that, but I have great time with them. So it is not only holding a conversation, it's also being able to connect with people in different levels. And that's makes it nice to be poly, because you don't have to find this perfect person, which I don't believe I'm perfect, but finding someone who has to be only and then you always think there's something better. I think when you're not poly, it always leaves a doubt in your mind. If you find someone with a lot of qualities that you like, maybe a little bit more qualities you like in another person, but you doubt your decision of making, being with the person you're already with. It makes you think if you should cheat. Okay, and I'm just trying to go through. Let's say you want to find a woman already. What's that? Let's see, go down a little bit here. So I'm sorry guys, I have to wrap this up here, but I am going to come back on my 4%. I'm going to come back in a little bit here. I'm going to put on my face. I'll probably put on my face while I go live. And then I'm going to do another live. Premiering. So, because we got to catch up. This is the time to be great. And then probably going to go to the gym. I'm going to talk about gym stuff too today. So I appreciate you guys for checking me out today. vibing with me. Like, share, and if you guys are new here, subscribe. And I'm going to see you guys again. And I'm glad that we had this conversation, and we will have more. So I will see you next time, and you guys be great. Bye.